Thanks to all of you for the opportunity to be here with you today. It's great to be here in my new capacity as president and CEO of NCTA. I'm very excited to be here and to be in this position during this age of artificial intelligence. For many of you that I haven't had the chance to meet, I grew up in eastern Colorado, that part of Colorado that most people think is actually Kansas, but it's still in Colorado. My family owned a farm equipment dealership there for over five generations of my family, over 100 years. They let me start work there when I was about 11 years old. They let me do some very high-skilled tasks of sweeping the floor, cleaning the bathrooms. They still let me do that to this day, and that's probably all that I'm qualified for today there. But I remember my dad, I remember my granddad standing behind the parts counter in that century-old family farm equipment dealership. And I remember telling people when I was a kid that my daddy, he sells tractors, and I'm proud of that. And you know what? I'm still proud that I can tell people that my dad sold tractors for many, many years along with my granddad. I'm darn proud of that. And so why am I starting this speech on artificial intelligence, telling you about living in the Kansas part of Colorado and tractors and parts counters? What does that business have to do with artificial intelligence? Well, to be honest, I have a confession. My family could be featured in one of those A&E Hoarders episodes. We love to hang on to everything that we've ever had, everything that's cycled through the implement dealership doors, old parts books, bearings, sales brochures, we've got it all. It's like a giant physical chat GPT where you can recall, compile, and deliver everything from history at your request. And while I was rummaging through some of this incredible archive material, these carefully crafted curated inputs, I found an old McCormick Deering International Harvester Tractor Salesman Manual from February of 1930, almost 100 years ago this month. This manual is both a window into a different era and a prescient blueprint for the future. Just like the promise of AI, the manual describes the modern marvel of the tractor as having, and I quote, relieved the farmer of many irksome chores and made his work easier and pleasanter. It extols the many uses of the tractor, and from farming to oil fields, road construction, golf courses, and lumber harvests. And just like the feared pitfalls of AI, this manual predicted that some farmers would resist the march of progress with nostalgic worries about the loss of horse-powered machinery, or even the false claim that horses are a cheap form of power for farm work because the farm furnishes their feed. Instead, this book argues, as some do now, that machinery allows business owners to focus more on what they do best. A very familiar argument today that we're facing with AI. Because sometimes we need to reach into the past to understand the future. This is an incredibly uncertain and exciting time for technologists, consumers, and company CEOs alike. The rapid onset of AI applications is both revolutionary and more of the same but better all at once. NCTA's members in the United States are at the forefront of all of these discussions, and we all stand to benefit. So whether you were a farmer 100 years ago, afraid to let go of that trusty horse that had plowed and planted the field for a generation along your side, or a business of today trying to gain a competitive advantage over ever-growing and competitive global competition, change, progress, and opportunity and all its challenges find us at every single step of the way. So today, that's why I'm honored to be here at another great State of the Net conference to lay out a 6-part plan known as the Core AI Agenda to keep the cable industry, or what many now refer to it as the fiber connectivity industry, at the very cutting edge of AI. First, core to the widespread adoption of AI is the connectivity infrastructure that underlies everything. This critical infrastructure isn't just a byproduct of AI, it is the backbone, the workhorse, the foundational element that makes and made AI possible. It's the critical national infrastructure that moves mountains of data at blazing speed to feed the constant hunger of LLM and its queries. This critical connectivity infrastructure should be recognized and built into every single economic and security plan our nation puts forward, a part of every national AI plan. Whether it's national economic security, national defense, a connectivity infrastructure industrial policy is core AI. Our operator members have invested more than $355 billion in high-speed broadband infrastructure over the last 20 years alone. That's more than the entire GDP of New Zealand or Greece. And of that amount, $26 billion was invested in 2025 alone. Enterprise adoption of AI and consumer use of AI simply would not be possible without this enormous financial commitment from the nation's leading broadband providers. And our members are doing even more than spending billions of dollars to span the United States with 800,000 miles of fiber optic networks. Consumers are enjoying significantly higher speeds from these networks and deployments in spectrum bands like 6 gigahertz. Nearly 90% of the United States can access gigabit connections from cable broadband providers, fiber connectivity providers, as internet speeds have increased roughly 30% every year for the last 16 years. I don't know about you, but I just wish I was running faster than I was 16 years ago today. While the connectivity industry is more than 1 million employees, 1 million employees are hard at work from North Carolina to Ohio and Massachusetts and Washington. Broadband prices remain well below the rate of inflation. The average family's at-home internet bill is around $75, which is about half of the average cost of a cell phone bill. And these lower prices are offered alongside continually higher speeds, as we've seen a 98% reduction in cost per megabit over the past 2 decades. Even with the energy industry's boom, their prices have increased about 10% over the same time period. As consumers and businesses realize the value of AI, our members can take credit for delivering the infrastructure that makes it all possible. And we're not only keeping prices low as we build, we're actively reducing prices for everyone, not just those that subscribe to our members' offerings. We're cutting mobile connectivity prices by bundling cell phone and home internet plans at one low price. Around 40% of all new wireless subscribers in the third quarter of 2025 chose our members as their mobile providers. That saved American households nearly $5 billion in 2025 alone, as families can save nearly $1,000 per year. Meanwhile, our members' low-cost offerings start around $15 per month, ensuring that around 95% of Americans have access to affordable broadband. This unprecedented availability of high-speed internet is a major part of the AI equation. AI's benefits are not possible without consumer access to quality broadband. Second, these nationwide benefits are at risk as a patchwork of state laws restricts AI providers, facilitators, and users alike. We need to be sure that all relevant stakeholders are at the table when policymakers at all levels are considering rules for the road that will govern them for decades to come. Core to AI is the ability to flourish without policy seesaws and whipsaws, arbitrarily limiting investment opportunity in connective capability. Industry is fully capable of developing its own voluntary standards and has already made strides to standardize its approach to AI governance issues. As states like California, Colorado, and Utah wrestle over how best to tackle AI-related issues, they should ensure that they are collaborating with the companies who are front and center in these debates, including our nation's critical infrastructure players. Core AI relies on the whole canvas of innovation, not pockets of players here and there. Third, the U.S. must continue to invest in AI-focused research and development initiatives. During my time in Congress, I worked with Senator Gary Peters to pass the American Innovation and Competitiveness Act, which reauthorized our nation's R&D and scientific enterprises. Others have carried on that work today, but that work must not be done in silos. It must be made systematic as part of a core AI-driven approach, and not just following the ebb and flow of a legislative calendar. The U.S. should leverage these R&D initiatives to achieve significant AI achievements that can enable improved dynamic spectrum sharing and better network management, including in the lower 7 gigahertz band. Our members already carry 90% of mobile traffic over their Wi-Fi networks. Think about that. Our members carry 90% of mobile traffic over Wi-Fi. New sharing arrangements enabled by technological advancements will only increase that percentage. And it just isn't just creative new sharing arrangements. AI is already enabling better detection and mitigation of adversarial threats to our nation's networks, as well as streamlining traffic management. We're constantly seeking to deepen our approach to these issues, and we are closely tracking the work happening at all levels of government, including the President's Genesis Mission executive order. When it comes to a lot of the issues that AI is solving with Spectrum, it reminds me of a story that I like to share about my dad, who spent one summer gardening with my mom. He was regularly going to the Ace Hardware in town, carrying out 50-pound bags of topsoil, complaining on his way out the door, "There's a whole world of dirt out there, and she wants to buy more." But unlike dirt, there is no more Spectrum being made. AI-inspired innovations and breakthroughs will help drive new solutions to the insatiable demand for Spectrum. This is core to AI. Fourth, we must ensure that policymakers understand that strong copyright protections will not undermine AI innovation, but are core to AI alignment that protects investment, open innovation, and ingenuity. Our nation's flexible fair use doctrine already strikes a careful balance for our members who are creating TV content that entertains, informs, and inspires. The courts must continue their case-by-case approach to these issues rather than abandon their responsibilities in lieu of some type of new AI-specific exception in the law. NCTA's programmers have invested more than $528 billion into award-winning entertainment over the last 20 years. The more than 350,000 employees that they support depend on robust IP protections and a predictable innovation environment. Direct licensing agreements already serve as mechanisms for AI companies and creators to foster and preserve the best creative ideas. Fifth, we must prepare for an AI future by continuing to prioritize major workforce and skills development efforts. Core to AI is the workforce. Education, training, and reskilling programs that will be critical for preparing the next generation of workers in fields as dynamic as edge computing, network operations, and data infrastructure management. And lastly, we should develop a comprehensive understanding with our citizens to leverage AI and its power to address current problems and the many use cases we never could have imagined at the time this book that I held up was written. Core to AI includes solving the challenges that AI itself will undoubtedly create and has created in the minds and the working realities of humanity. In 2018, Henry Kissinger argued that society, both intellectually and philosophically, had not fully grasped what it meant to integrate powerfully artificial intelligence into human life. As he engaged more in AI over years, posthumously in his Genesis work, he framed AI as deeply transformative, capable of solving great global challenges, concerns over climate, concerns over human conflict, inequality, and to upending human decision-making. What would he say today? To be successful, we must fully develop our approach through a common national understanding, planning industry engagement, and a core AI approach, one that harnesses without diminishing that transformative power while solving for the human dynamic that Kissinger so focused on. Deployment of AI will only continue to grow over the next few years. If it's anything like the adoption of the internet or the reduction in cost and speed explosion of the internet, it will compound faster than any of us could have ever imagined. So think about what a core AI agenda means for us all. It means investing in infrastructure that returns affordable consumer options. It means avoiding a harmful patch of state AI laws. It means prioritizing AI-related research and development. It means protecting copyright and content alongside AI advancement. It means protecting and promoting AI-enabled workforces, reskilling and new skilling initiatives. And finally, it means that we leverage AI for existing and novel use cases at every step while empowering all to benefit. This is core AI. Through all the unknown to come, I will continue to refer back to what is most familiar to me, selling tractors. As the 1930 manual warns, be careful not to assume a superior attitude when learning about and explaining new technologies. And as Senator Arthur Capper of Kansas, elected in 1918, quoted in this book, advised, and I quote, "Every farmer ought to study this mechanical age in which he lives. Machinery is causing a revolution. Just what results will be or how soon they will come cannot be stated. but very definite changes are inevitable. Machines cannot be ignored. They must be used. Thanks again for having me today, and I hope you find the conference fulfilling, as I certainly have. Thank you very much. Thank you.